As an XRP holder, we constantly hear about cross-border payments, and it is because of how substantial the market is. It's also about why, cross-border payments themselves have not been upgraded for decades. Guys, this is a market ripe for disruption with hundreds of trillions of dollars tied to it, and it seems as though there's only one big real name in this space that is fully focused on it, and that is Ripple with XRP. Now, yes, Stellar is in on the game, but not as big as Ripple is. And we have to talk about this in this video, especially when it comes to FedNow and Ripple and the secret ties behind the scenes. So welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we go back recently to September 5th, Ripple put out a great post, and it was talking more so about how the traditional cross-border payment systems are slowing crypto businesses down. And yes, they are extremely slow, and it is slowing not only crypto businesses down, but it's slowing everything down, making it difficult to provide customers with flexible fiat payout options. Ripple Payments can streamline digital asset off-ramps by providing 24/7, 365 access to cross-border payments, reducing the number of counterparties in the payment flow, and settling global transactions in seconds. Now also over here, SMEs. SMEs are increasingly expanding their businesses but struggle with cross-border payments. Local banks can transform these global payments challenges into growth opportunities with efficient, transparent solutions. Learn how in our latest white paper. So they are fully still embracing cross-border payments. They are still focused on cross-border payments, and it's not a big surprise. Listen, as we really focus on Ripple and as we think about Ripple, and if we, look at the overall timeline from going all the way back to, we can go back to the early 2010s. But if we really think about what's been happening in the last just 1 year, Ripple has been still focused on payments. Payments is the killer use case around blockchain. It is an area of finance that has not changed in decades. It is an area of finance that is ripe for disruption, that has trillions of dollars tied to it. Payments needs, the entire payment system itself globally needs an upgrade. And blockchain and crypto is right there. This is also why I look at the connections. I look at the timeline. Go back to the summer of 2023. Ripple joins the BIS task force for the cross-border payments market. Now, I know that it might sound crazy to bring this back up because it's well over a year ago and we keep hearing about it, but it's also the fact that Ripple has been working with the IMF. They've been working with the Federal Reserve. They have been working with all of these elite organizations and central banks for so long. Go all the way back to 2017, just for an example. Federal Reserve Task Force, Ripple improves speed and transparency of global payments. This was a short article, but it did talk about how Ripple was working with the Federal Reserve. Today, after 2 years of work, the Federal Reserve released its Faster Payments Task Force's action plan for bringing faster payments to the United States, highlighting Ripple's ability to underpin the next generation of cross-border payments. Set up in 2015 after the Fed recognized the need to spur improvements in payments, the task force brought together a diverse group of 320 stakeholders, including banks, regulators, end users, and technology companies to create a roadmap for modernizing the U.S. payments infrastructure. And it gives Ripple a vote of confidence for the next generation of global payments. And listen, I still focus on this. Everyone is so quick to write off a lot of these announcements simply because of the SEC lawsuit. Guys, if anything, this proves to us what the SEC lawsuit was all about. It gave Ripple and XRP an open door to be one of the first ones to walk through that door about getting regulatory clarity. Over here, this is the FedNow service. This is timeline of Federal Reserve's Instant Payments Network. Goes back to 2014 task force. The Federal Reserve launched the Faster Payments Task Force to identify and evaluate alternative approaches for implementing safe and efficient faster payment systems and capabilities in the United States. Okay. Ripple Labs, June 16th, 2015. Ripple Labs representative joins Federal Reserve's Faster Payments Task Force Steering Committee. This is also right around the time that we get this announcement, just 2 years later, that Ripple is officially joining the Federal Reserve Task Force. Now, also, Remember that even with the FedNow service, big shout out to Subjective Views for this, certified service providers for FedNow have been updated. I've highlighted 8 of them who are known to have partnerships with Ripple. Certified service providers have completed testing certification to support payment processing for participating financial institutions. These providers are entrusted with providing instant payment services such as bill pay, payroll processing, digital wallets, and even API development. If we actually look at this, we can see ACI Worldwide, Ripple partner, also another Ripple partner here as well, BNY Mellon, CGI, we have Finastra, FIS, Temenos, and even Volante. And you know what's crazy about this? Is when we think about all of these other names on here as well, like ECS Fin, also connections back to Ripple. A lot of the players on here also have connections back to Ripple through some other partnership. Just take for an example, right? Finastra. I think Finastra has 8,000 plus players tied to it. Volante, some of the largest banks tied to Volante. It's crazy to look at some of these connections and think about the domino effects, the network effects that these names have tied back to them. Now also, Fed Payments Improvement just posted this the other day. There are many opportunities that instant payments can provide for community banks, like First Citizens State Bank. We have accelerated our FedNow service adoption because we knew that instant payments would take off, and we wanted to offer these payments to our customers as soon as possible. This is from a bank themselves. We want to offer these services as soon as possible to our customers. Just think, the other day I made a video talking about Bank of America and JP Morgan celebrating XRP and Ripple, saying, hey, we expect major adoption to happen after the lawsuit. Bank of America even saying, hey, we want to utilize XRP after that lawsuit. How many other banks are probably thinking the same exact thing? Over here, from Smoke Dog, instant payments is gearing up to take off in the US, and FedNow will be the spark. As always, it's laid out in the documentation, focused on the facts. After FedNow reaches 50% adoption nationwide, there will be a greater justification to suddenly get connected to the network. At the current states or at the current rates of adoption, FedNow connectivity in the US will be at 50% among banks and credit unions at the end of 2024. Federal representatives are counting on FOMO in the financial community regarding FedNow adoption. And here we actually have, and this is from treasuryandrisk.com, as the number of participants across both networks rises into the hundreds and the corporate adoption rate goes up more than 50%, suddenly there will be a greater justification for participants to try to connect various domestic instant payment networks. And yeah, that's the number one thing about this, right? When we think about FedNow, it's all within the US. This is not, a worldwide thing yet. But once it gets significant traction, that's when it goes cross borders. Over here, we have by the end of 2024, 50% of banks and credit unions will be up and running with real-time payments. Roughly half of financial institutions plan to offer real-time payments through FedNow. Also over here, parting thoughts, the FedNow and credit union takeaway. I'm really counting on fear of missing out, FOMO within the financial community. If you're a bank that's not sure about this, but the bank across the street is offering it, that's maybe a dangerous position to be in, just from a competitive standpoint. Now, that's also something that I want to take away from this and think about, one bank going live with blockchain or crypto. Think about that. That's one bank. From a competitive standpoint, every single bank will be utilizing blockchain DLT. They'll be looking into tokenization as well. It's very clear to me. So as the number of institutions steadily climbs, I'm really counting on FOMO. I think the other thing is that we just need to talk about success stories and talk in story terms about what instant payments are, how they work, and how they are better. Yeah, this is happening. And also, major confirmation directly from Ripple, in the next year, FedNow will be everywhere. In a recent released 2024 document titled Trends in Regional Payments, Ripple delves into various payment systems, with FedNow being a key focus. The document clearly states that within the next year, networking effects associated with the adoption of FedNow will begin to manifest. In their own words, Ripple defines networking effects as everyone will be on it because everyone is on it. This phenomenon will significantly transform the payments landscape in America as universal instant payments finally take shape for the first time. The moment has arrived. And here we have trends in regional payments inside the evolving global payments landscape 2024. FedNow launch and impact. It breaks it down. In the next year, we are likely to see the networking effect, everyone's on it because everyone's on it, begin to manifest itself in North America. Yes, this is happening. Finance, payments, everything is changing significantly. Now, you might be questioning, all right, well, is this all the connections back to FedNow? No. In fact, Jess Chang. Guys, everyone should focus on Jess Chang. We look at her background, okay? This is her experience. We have going all the way back to 2011, 2015, counsel and officer at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Then she joins Ripple in 2015 to 2018 about becoming a deputy general counsel. I created the legal framework and terms for the RippleNet rulebook and helped build blockchain and DLT and XRP-based cross-border payment solutions. Very interesting. Then she joins the IMF as a counsel. I advised on the strategic direction of the fund's fintech work agenda. We lead expert in payments and digital assets and advanced reform and central bank laws. Then she joined the Federal Reserve Board as senior counsel. I led work on the FedNow legal framework, payments regulation modernization, and policy aspects of crypto stablecoins and CBDCs. Very interesting background here, especially with, just Ripple being in there. The only other positions is the Federal Reserve and the IMF and these two companies here, which are, from what I see, almost like law firms, if you will. But this is very, very interesting. If we build upon this connection, we go over here from ISO 2022, let's do it, Ripple and FedNow. The payments program FedNow is tapping 91 different firms for payment processing, and many openly use the blockchain tech of Ripple to give a dynamic facelift to the existing financial system. And these are the names here, an array of partnerships between Ripple and companies like Volante, Fidelity, Instant Payment Services, Euronet, Finastra, and Cross River have been chosen by the Federal Reserve to put this plan into action. Over here, we have, interestingly, the U.S. Federal Reserve has proclaimed the commencement of the FedNow service operations in July of 2023. And again, we have, notably, among the banks enlisted for the July 1st launch are 3 Ripple-partnered banks, Finastra, Volante Technologies, and ACI Worldwide. And then also over here, we have what FedNow means that the technology is going to be supported long-term. Blockchain providers are also providing real-time settlement across borders. Ripple's RippleNet, for example, links network users worldwide for real-time settlement of international transactions. And the key there is international, because right now it's all domestic. Over here, we have Jess Chang. And if we actually look at this, let me open this up in a new tab, we can see that she was formerly senior counsel at the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. Then, of course, we also have that she specialized in a broad spectrum of payment system issues, including policy analysis of digital assets, stablecoins, and central bank digital currencies, and oversight of the Federal Reserve's payment services, including the FedNow service. Prior to that, she was counsel at the IMF, where she advised on the strategic direction of the fund's fintech work agenda, which I told you guys about. This is regarding central bank legislation. And then, of course, she was the deputy general counsel at Ripple. So again, very substantial individual. And then also over here, we have, in addition, Jess provides strategic bank regulatory advice to clients, including in connection with bank chartering, fintech partnerships, and crypto asset related activities. And then this is her role at the Fed. In that role, Jess was at the forefront of payments rulemaking and the development of the Fed's innovative core instant payment infrastructure, the FedNow service. Partnerships between banks and fintech companies, including in connection with payment infrastructure that leverages DLT and other emerging technologies, and the legal, regulatory, and public policy aspects of new forms of digital money, including central bank digital currencies. Why is this big? Because she worked at Ripple. She was there around the Fed to bring in partnerships between banks and fintech companies, aka Ripple, including in connection with payment infrastructures that leverage DLT. Before joining the Fed, she worked as counsel for the IMF. From 2015 to 2018, she served as the deputy general counsel at enterprise blockchain company Ripple. Now, she advised on a wide range of legal and regulatory issues that affect innovative payment products. Very interesting. I'm not saying that XRP and Ripple are going to always be chosen when it comes to things like this, but I'm just saying that the connections are very, very significant. Things are heating up in a very large way. And yes, this is the moment that we have been waiting for technically. Like, this is going to be the moment that everything changes. Once FedNow goes international, the game is on. It begins. That's where I do believe that DLT and blockchain becomes very significant in the global financial market. I also do believe that by that point, we should have regulations. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.